without much, I was going to say fanfare, I was trying to think of the word. Without even consulting my notes, I'm going to be talking, I should have just got to that first. I will be speaking of the great scientists from Euclid to Stephen Hawking. I haven't got to Stephen Hawking yet. By John Farndon, I guess. And interesting love. Wait, does it have it in here? I don't want to. Spoilers for. I'm trying to see it. One of the authors. Check this out. Okay. Here it is. I didn't do it. Alright, Alex Wolf. Anne Rooney. She was the one that wrote the last book I wrote about mathematics. By the way, if anybody can name all these, I'm bad with pictures. I think some of these are, that's not Lavoisier, is it? Fuck. Yeah, I'm so bad with the fucking names. This one looks, it's not Bertrand Russell, is it? He looks like fucking Mo. Oh, it must be a hat, right? I was like, that's a weird ass haircut. Is that fucking, it's not Darwin, or is it Alfred North? God damn it, I'm so, alright, I know that's, the fucking, not Anton Lavoisier. God damn it. I just read about him. Oh, well, fuck it. It'll come to me. It's the other chemist guy. Should have. Anyway, where I am now. Actually, it's probably just a few pages back. But if you see how it's separated, it's kind of got a little cool color coding. It's like red and then green. I guess it's 18th century. Or blue, that's it. Okay, the 18th century, and then yellow, and so on. And it goes forward as well. Let's go back. I know it, because I want to find that one scientist anyway. Charles Babbage. Oh yeah, the inventor of the computer, sort of. Ada Lovelace is mentioned in there, of course. Michael Faraday. Alright, so, speaking of Michael Faraday. Alright, oh shit, I'm seeing him all over the place already. I actually like the front of this. It looks like a Caravaggio or a Rembrandt. It's got that chiaroscuro to it. You see these little kids here. So, I don't know. I was trying to find, I looked through the credits for paintings, but I wasn't quite getting who did this. I couldn't quite find the answer for who did this painting, but I think it's actually pretty cool. Yeah, so far I like this book with the bios. I've learned a few new things. Let me go. I made a little list of notes on my wall for. So this is so far what I've written. Just some of the math notes. Speaking of Lavoisier, this is interesting. The Republic has no need of scientists. That's what the judge said in his case. And then somebody that was at the Joseph Louis de Lagrange, he was a mathematician and witness to his execution. Then the French Revolution. It took a mere instant to cut off that head, and yet 100 years may not produce another like it. And then there's a guy named Peter Artedi. I put fishes because he's an ichthyologist or whatever. John Wright. Who was he associated with now? God damn it. That Carl Linnaeus, I believe. And then here's some of my notes I have on this side. The House of Wisdom, that's important. I think we talked about that on the last one, or at least I wrote it down for the last one. Archimedes, the Andreas Vesalius, Titian, not Titian, fucking Ted. Oh, I found that this time. Anyway, yeah, and then Robert Hooke, 1665, perhaps the first. Documented the Living Cell, perhaps the first popular science book. And he had a feud with Newton, which I found interesting. Newton, Fatio de Dully. I think that was the lover of Newton. I want to write that down. Carnegie dissuaded Gregor Mendel from publishing, not publishing, but he's like, you should try hawkweed. Fucking guy. That's fucking asexual man that threw him off. Well, you know what? I was actually trying to start without my notes because, as you can see, I just fumbled around anyway. I'm trying to be experimental. That's why these aren't, the highest production values. That's my excuse. But my brain just kind of goes all over. So, it's just hard for me to fucking keep my mind on. And I just, jump all over because I was already going to say something else about this. And I got confused. What was the other thing I was going to talk about? Was it one of the fucking Lavoisier or whatever? I think I showed that quote though. I can't remember if there's anything else. But I find this book pretty interesting. I've learned, even reading about, the same scientists I've read other works about, I've learned new things. Like, Newton being a fucking dick. I think, was it Robert Hooke? That's one I showed on there, his feud. But he was like wrong about a bunch of things, like his particle theory of light. And there were some people who contradicted him, and I can't remember who was the first one. Christian Huygens, I believe, yeah. So I'm trying to focus more on the scientists I don't know as much about. Here, let me just switch to this, and we can go through some of these, maybe. You can see some of the Archimedes, of course, who... was he allied with the Carthaginians during the... God damn it. What was that war? It was the Punic War, and he fought for... not... Is it Carthage? It don't matter, whatever. But, his fucking bathtub eureka moment where, it's like the king's like, I want you to find out this gold is actual gold. And he's like, eureka, it's use the bathwater, blah, blah, blah. Hipparchus. I get Hipparchus confused with Aristarchus. But, I don't need to go on all this. For anybody... So, but, if you're just looking for a rather recommendation, Leonardo da Vinci, I always get bored of reading about Leonardo da Vinci, but I think I did learn some new stuff in here. Like, he didn't publish his scientific works, or they could have had more of an impact. But anybody looking to learn about scientists, and you're not sure if this book will teach anything new, for me, it's not like I feel like I do need to read more about science, but I did learn some new things, and I've read books on science before. Andreas Vesalius, of course, he was... the guy who, back when everyone was just, sucking Galen off, he was like, no, we gotta do, was it when he cut into people, we gotta dissect people and find out the truth, and he made this, like, beautiful-ass book, and he sent it to one of the emperors. What is it? It probably says on one of these, but he made these beautiful paintings. He's like, I gotta make it of the highest quality and shit. But I want to go back through and spotlight some of this a little bit. Anton van Leeuwenhoek. Oh, yeah. This dude seemed like a chill dude from what I was reading about him. He just seemed pretty humble, didn't really expect to achieve much, and just had this microscope and started looking in things and be like, he would look at his own semen and be like, look at these moving sperm things. Hell yeah. But he would just, he's the one that first found, like, moving life. And he found bacteria, I think, but he didn't put it all together for germ theory, which would be left to, I think that was the guy I was thinking of. Who's the germ theory guy? God damn it, not Lovis. You always confuse him. Germ theory guy, god damn it. Where's my live audience for this? Sir Isaac Newton, like I said, he seems like a dick from what I read about him, though, man. I like Robert Hooke. He seems like he might be a dick, though, too. Who knows? But this, look at this. Look at you, fucking member of the Addams family here. Let's see. John Dalton. Oh yeah, he put together atomic theory and all that. I actually had when I got to the section on. There we go. To the section on who's the electric guy. Not Maxwell, James Clerk Maxwell, not him though. The other guy, Michael Faraday. I would like to know more. I don't know if I should subscribe to one of those brilliant courses. I'm not going to advertise it here, obviously, because I haven't even tried it for one. Don't need to get into all that, but I was just thinking, what if it could teach me shit about how electrical induction shit works? But I had this whole conversation with somebody yesterday about what's the difference between centrifugal and centripetal forces, and how exactly do the electrical induction work with, you move magnetic fields around it, it generates electricity on wires and shit like that, and that's how transformers and generators work, I went on ChatGPT to try to, figure out more about that, but I would like to know more about the specifics of science. Hey, Nebby. I'm not really specialist. I like to just branch off and have a breadth of knowledge rather than a depth of knowledge, but it's so fun to have a little bit of depth, too. I do that with philosophy, I used to dig deep on that, and I just got kind of burnt out. Oh, here it is. Louis Pasteur, that's his picture, see. Boom. Is there anything I need to say about him? There's good shit about these people. I'll probably have to consult my notes. This is some Gregory Mendel shit here, I think, with his peapods, but... Oh, yeah, and Mendeleev with his, and this is where I am. I need to start reading. Alright, I'm going to pause here, I think, and I'm going to consult my notes, and then we'll talk about any specifics if I need to. But like I said, just as of now, I do recommend this book. it's a cool it has some cool profiles, and I like the textures of the book. The art on the front's pretty cool. The chiasm, god damn it, chiaroscuro. Yeah, it's it's not just lame ass mini profiles that you wouldn't shit that you wouldn't know, or you would anyway. Right. All right. I mentioned Peter Artedi, or Artedi, or whatever. I was friends with Linnaeus, I guess, and they were gonna. One little fact about him is they were originally gonna split up what they worked on. Artedi was gonna, because Carl Linnaeus, the binomial classification system in biology is because of him. So Artedi was gonna do fish and land animals, and then Carl Linnaeus was gonna do I was going to say air creatures, but birds and plants. But then, Peter Artedi fell into the canal and drowned. So he's like, God damn it, I got to do all this shit. Poor dude. And I was going to mention, alright, let's talk about Da Vinci. He was apparently, because I wrote down these notes from another book where it says Da Vinci, I think it's from my paintings. He had this habit of losing interest on projects. And one of them, I think, was he was supposed to do an anatomy book to publish in 1510, but kind of lost interest in it. That's one example. And he was also doing this competing, who was the fucking painter he was competing with? I think it was like Michelangelo. But they were both doing battles, and the battle Da Vinci was going to do was the Battle of Anghiari. And he ended up not doing that. So those are two examples of shit Da Vinci went back on. Alright, and I mentioned Robert Hooke. So apparently when he coined the term cell is because it reminded him of the cell in a monastery. I thought that was interesting. And I already talked about micrographia being, in 1665, being the first science book popular. Yeah. Anything else? Oh, yeah, so when, what was his name? Newton got into the Royal Mint, fucking Voltaire got in on that and said it was because he had this pretty niece that was in this position to marry someone from that, so it was interesting, fucking Voltaire calling him out like that. And then finally, is that the final thing? Oh, yeah, there's one other note. I mean, I kind of made a whole bunch of notes, but I just wanted, a few things that, interesting little factoids that stood out. And specifically, the House of Wisdom that was built in 820 AD. And that is because this guy, I don't remember if I talked about this in the previous one, the Mamun's Dream. In 813 AD, this guy came to power in the Middle East. What part of it was it? I have to look into that later exactly. Anyway, yeah, it was in 813 AD. Was it like around Constantinople or some shit, or is that... Wait, that's like... Alright. I need to look all this shit up. But Al-Mamun, he took power in 813, and by 820 he had his House of Wisdom, which is, part of how we got the golden age of Islam and shit. And, he's like, we got to copy all these works. So, it's a very important bit of info, I guess. I think next I'm just going to go into a few pages. I'm just going to show a few specific pages and passages, so let's get to that. Alright, it's about Leonardo da Vinci. I was on this page earlier, I guess. A little bit. But this is one I was going to... People have speculated about his sexuality, and he seems never to have any interest in women, writing in his notebooks. The act of procreation and anything that has any relation to it is so disgusting that human beings would soon die out if there were no pretty faces and sensuous dispositions. So that's interesting. Silly guy. Alright, so this is about Vesalius, and, because he was one of the first people dissecting bodies to see the value of it, because Galen apparently based his studies on other, animals and shit, and so there would be incorrect information sometimes. So, his pursuit of corpses gruesome in 1533. This is like some Jeffrey Dahmer shit. He went to study in Paris, where he was often out in the night, scouring graveyards for fresh bodies, or scavenging the poor burial sites, where he would fight with wild dogs over a body. Extraordinarily, to avoid unwanted attention, he took the bodies back to his bedroom and secretly dissected them there. Night after night, he would sleep with a rotting, partially dissected corpse beside him. Since he kept corpses for several weeks, the stench must have been truly appalling, I bet. Alright, so Newton also wrote on alchemy. And you know how most people blame their dog, like, my dog ate my homework, and like, it's like the cliche thing. Let's see, where is it? Most of his notes on the subject were destroyed in a fire started by his dog Diamond, so only a fraction of his volume of research survives. Yeah, that's crazy as fuck. Goddamn, the dog Diamond. Why would you do this, Diamond? God damn it. Don't trust dogs named Diamond or Son of Sam. Alright, there's something on page 66. I gotta remember. Oh, yeah. So, it's about how religion makes us all morons. Linnaeus believed that all species of plant had existed in God's original Garden of Eden, so it was a pious act to bring them all together. Linnaeus also believed that Sweden... he seemed convinced that even tropical plants could survive in Sweden's cool climate. When tender plants perished, he apparently assumed that they were a weak specimen. Oh, so it has to do with the Garden of Eden, I think. They were tried. Okay, watching from around the world. Linnaeus has believed that all the species had existed in God's original Garden of Eden. Alright, so I guess because they were all... He thought that since God had all the plants together, of course they would goddamn survive. Why wouldn't they? Oh, okay, I think this is the final... Let me make sure before yeah. Here's one more final note before we sign off. I thought it was amusing. I told Chels about this because she has misophonia. I was like, this is how you're going to go out. 88. Yeah. Alright. Babbage was aging. And it's about Charles Babbage, obviously. We're upset by nightmares, hallucinations, and dreadful headaches. He was also plagued by street musicians outside his house, suffering an ear condition which made their playing extremely upsetting to him. In October 1871, he fell seriously ill, and on the 18th, with the organ players in the street playing as loud as ever, dun, 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 he died. I was like, I want to reread that one time, just because it's in a dark way, it's amusing. In October 1871, he fell seriously ill. And on the 18th, with the organ players in the street playing as loud as ever, he died. I don't know, man. That shit cracks me up. For someone actually dying, it's pretty funny. Yeah, we'll stick with it. Let's get these glasses on. Beautiful. That's the way to sign out right here. Yeah, I've already said it several times. Totally recommend it. And if you enjoyed what you saw here, since no one watches these anyway, so I don't know why would you, Nate. Or, happy birthday to Doug. If you watch this, which you probably don't. Tomorrow is your birthday. Tomorrow will be March 12th, of 2023. I don't remember how old you are, you old bastard. But you're older than me, and I'm getting there, so... Happy birthday and all that. And don't die yet. Please. Alright. Science.